Hello, everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about completing the square. You're going to see it quite a bit in college when you're analyzing quadratic functions, when you're doing conic sections. It comes in real handy, but it's still intimidating to some students. In this video, we are going to show you a way to complete the square without any issues. Just follow a scripted formula for any value of a. In this video, we're going to complete the square for any quadratic equation for any value of a, except 0, obviously, with one shot, okay? Doesn't matter what a is. So before we begin, please like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends and classmates on your social media. All right, let's get to it. So the objective is to go from here to here and basically identify what h and k are in terms of a, b, and c. If you can do that, this is called completing the square, okay? Now, we want to start with this, instead of the plus right here, we want to just start with a minus. This will be our starting point, and this will be evident later when we talk about conic sections and quadratic functions, okay? So before we begin, let's refresh our mind with one thing. Remember the quadratic formula? Okay? We may get to derive it here towards the end a little bit. But let's look at this here. What's under the square root? This is called the discriminant. This is b squared minus 4ac. And again, if you memorize this formula, you can easily pick out the discriminant from it. Discriminant is gonna come in handy here in just a little bit. All right. So let's go ahead and evaluate now what h and k are in terms of a, b, and c. So let's start with what we said we're going to start with. So here's y, ax squared, x minus h squared plus k. Let me expand this a little bit here. Let me expand the square here. So here's a. Expand this. This is the square of the first. The first times the second times 2. So we're going to get a negative 2hx. And then we're going to square this. I get an h squared. That's everything in the parentheses. And then there's a k sitting outside. So now distribute the a. Ax squared minus 2ahx plus ah squared plus k. Right, now let me write the original equation right underneath it. Now, just by simple comparisons, there's the a. Now this here has to equal b, and this here has to equal c. So negative 2ah must equal b, so h is negative b over 2a. We already got h now in terms of a and b. Let's see if we can get k. Ah squared plus k must equal c. So ah squared plus k equals c. So bring the ah squared over and change its sign. K equals c minus ah squared. I'll plug in what h is. H is negative b squared over 2a. So negative b over 2a squared. So now, square the inside of these parentheses. We get a b squared over 4a squared. Now this a We'll cancel one of these. A is out. Let's see. Get a common denominator. What is this? 4ac minus b squared. This is right here. B squared minus 4ac. It's basically the negative of the discriminant. Multiply both sides by a negative, and then I rearrange, I get this. So this is basically negative b squared minus 4ac over 4a. And this is k. We just got k in terms of b, a, and c, and now we have h. All right? So another way to get k, so let me just put them right here. So h is negative b over 2a, and k equals negative b squared minus 4ac over 4a. And I put it in this way because it's easy to remember. Because of the quadratic formula, it's b squared minus 4ac. So it's negative b squared minus 4ac over 4a. Now, this is one way to get k. Another way to get k is to plug in h into the original equation. So plug h into the original equation. I want to show you what we get is exactly this, which means we have two ways to compute k. So y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Plug in h for x. H is negative b over 2a. So again, plug h into the original equation, plug it in for x, okay? So here, I square this, I get b squared over 4a squared. What do I have here? Plus b times a negative b, I'm going to get an overall negative b squared over 2a plus c. This a cancels one of these. I get b squared over 4a minus b squared over 2a plus c. This is half of that. So a quarter of something minus a half of the something, it's negative a quarter of that something. So it's negative b squared over 4a plus c. Get a common denominator. I'll get negative b squared plus 4ac over 4a. Factor out a negative sign. And this value of k right here are the same. In other words, I can get k two ways. I can directly use negative b squared minus 4ac over 4a, or I can plug the value of h into the original equation, and that will give me the k. Either way is acceptable. You choose which one you want to use, all right? Also, so here's y equal a x minus h squared plus k, okay? And what if I set this equal to 0? Means a x minus h squared plus k equals 0. Let me move the k over. And let me divide by a. Now, I can take the square root of both sides. So x minus h equals plus or minus the square root of negative k over a. Well, let's plug them in. Let me bring the h over first. What is h? H is negative b over 2a, plus or minus the square root. Negative k. This is k right here. So a negative k is a negative of a negative b squared minus 4ac over 4a. And there's this a in the denominator. Negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root. The negatives cancel. So on top, I'll have b squared minus 4ac. There's a c here, sorry. Over, these two multiply each other. So it's 4a squared. It's negative b over 2a plus or minus. Now here I have a fraction under the square root, so it's the square root of the top over the square root of the bottom. This is 4a squared. Well, what's the square root of 4a squared? It's just 2a. We're getting the c over 2a. And now these two have the same common denominator. So this is what the quadratic formula. That's how you solve an equation when you set it to 0. That's how you find the zeros of the equation. You set it equal to 0, you try to factor it out, it doesn't work, then you use the quadratic formula, okay? But the quadratic formula is derived from when you complete the square, it's easy to go ahead and derive the quadratic formula. So that's one advantage of completing the square, okay? But you don't have to derive the quadratic formula every time. You just use it. Okay? So now we have a way to get h and k. K has basically two ways to get it. H just is negative b over 2a. K, we use this, or we plug h into the equation, and we get the value of k. And here I just showed that whenever I complete the square and I want to solve for the zeros, that gives me the quadratic formula that we've always used. People used since, again, early high school, maybe even in middle school. Okay? So let's work out some problems. So here's one problem. Let's complete the square. So again, the idea is to write it as, so let's go ahead and find, first of all, write what a is. B is negative 4, and C is negative 3. We identified A, B, and C. H is negative B over 2A, which is negative, B is negative 4 over 2, here's the 2, A is 2. The negatives give me a plus, so that's 4 over 4 or 1. So I got H. So now I've finished this right there. I need K. By the way, this A is the same A over here. Okay? So K, again, is negative B squared minus 4AC over 4A. 2A over 4A. Here's negative, B squared. B is negative 4 minus 4 times A times C over 4 times A. This is 8 on the denominator. Here's the negative. Negative 4 squared is 16. This negative with this negative give me a plus. So I have 4 times 2, which is 8. Excuse me. Times 3 is 24. So now k equals negative 40 over 8 or negative 5. Okay, so now I'm done. Y equals a x minus h, x minus 1 squared minus 5. There it is. Now let's use the second method to compute k. Now, second method to get k. Remember we said we plug in h into the original equation. So 2h squared minus 4h minus 3. Plug h in for every x. Okay? So this is 2. H is 1. 2 minus 4 minus 3 is negative 5. There it is. There's the same k. Okay? So you can either get k using this equation, sometimes maybe easier, or you could use k using the second method. And with both methods, that's where k goes. H goes in here with a minus in front of it. That's completing the square. Let's do another problem. Okay, we got this one. Again, first thing, let's put our goal right here. This a, again, is the negative 1. So here a is negative 1. Let's identify him. B is 3. C is 6. So h is negative b over 2a. Negative b is 3 over 2 times negative 1. Or negative 3 halves. There is my h. Okay? K. Doesn't matter which method. Let's use both. B squared. B is 3, so that's 3 squared minus 4 times A is negative 1 times C is 6 over 4 times negative 1. This negative 1 and this negative will cancel. So leave me with a 4 in the denominator. On top, what do I have? I have a 9 minus, gives me a plus. 4 times 1 is 4 times 6 is 24. So we take it up here. K equals 9 plus 24 is 33 over 4. That's K. So now y equals negative, again, A is negative 1, x minus what's h? H is negative, sorry, it's not negative 3 halves. This negative and this negative will cancel out, gives me just 3 halves. Okay? So it's negative 3 halves squared plus k. K turned out to be 33 over 4. Let's get k the other way. The next second method. So k equals negative h squared plus 3 times h plus 6. Here's the negative. H is 3 halves plus 3 times 3 halves plus 6. Negative 9 over 4 plus 9 over 2 plus 6. Again, this is half of that. So when we do this plus this, we're going to get 9 over 4. So k equals 9 over 4. It's like a half of something, and that something is 9, minus a quarter of something. If you have a half a dollar, minus a quarter, you're going to get a quarter. So a half a 9 minus a quarter over 9, you're going to get a quarter over 9. There it is, plus 6. So cross multiply, we got 9 plus 24 over 4, and we get 33 over 4, which checks out with the other. So either way, you could get K, but again, with simple two formulas, or this and that, you can easily get this equation. Okay, let's look at this one here. Again, our goal is to put it in this form. So A in this case is 3, B is 5, and C is negative 2. So H is negative B over 2A, negative B is 5 over 2 times 3, or negative 5 over 6. Okay, I'll do it both ways as well. Equals negative. Here's the 4, and the A is a 3. On top, what do we have? B squared. 5 squared minus 4 times A times C. Just read them off of here. So K equals negative. Denominator, I get a 12. Numerator, I get a 25. The negative with the 4 and the negative 2 leaves me with a plus. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. And this here is negative 49 over 12. Okay? That is what I have for K. So now, let me get K the second way. K equals, plug in H in for X here and here. So it would be 3 times negative 5 6 squared plus 5 times negative 5 6 minus 2. Here's the 3. This is 25 over 6 squared is 36. Plus 5. The 5 and the negative 5 actually give me a negative 25 over 6. And now I have a negative 2. This 3 and the 36 leaves me with a 12 and a 25 minus 25 over 6 minus 2. Again, this is half of that. Okay. So I'm going to get K equals negative 25 over 12 minus 2. Cross multiply, negative 25 minus 24 over 12, or negative 49 over 12. That's what I got in the original equation. Okay. So now my final answer, y equals A is 3, x minus h. X minus h is negative 5 6. See, this is h. Minus k, or plus k. K is negative 49 12. Well, the minus and the minus here cancel to give me a plus. Minus 49 12. And there's the answer. This is completing the square for this equation right here. All right. Thank you for your time. I hope you found this to be beneficial. Please let us know. I hope to see you in future videos. Good night.